All right, so we're going to go over the trades from today. We had a pretty hot market. So this is crazy. Yesterday, HOLO ends up going up over 3,000%, and that triggered some momentum this morning. HKIT, 4,500%. SYRA, almost 700%. But right now we have three stocks that are up over 100%. So there was some momentum in the market, but just because there's momentum doesn't mean it was easy to trade. Most of us who have been trading for a while have traded through really, really hot markets, but a lot of beginner traders are not accustomed to this level of volatility. So it's a little unfamiliar seeing things moving as much as they are, really deep pullbacks and then big whips back up. Those types of bounces can be awesome, but if you're not expecting how low it can go, you can get into early, get stopped out, then it bounces without you. So let's get on the charts and sort of break down today's trades. Okay, so today started with me looking, of course, at HOLO. This was yesterday's big move. It went all the way to $50 after hours. And honestly, I don't have any FOMO about missing this move right here. I wouldn't have there's almost no circumstance where I would have been trading this. I'm never trading after hours at this point. You know, that's just, look, if the market changes and justifies it, that's one thing. But this is an anomaly. It's awesome it happened for traders who are in it to the long side. It's terrible for traders who are short. But in any case, I don't feel FOMO over it. It's just something that happened in the market. Let's look at the, thinking maybe we'll look at the 1 minute chart. Well, so let's see. Yeah, I'm going to jump over to the 1 minute chart here on this. Okay, so on the 1 minute chart on this, yesterday, if you recall, when I was doing my recap, I was like, you know, this one's funny because it's a grinder. It's super thickly traded, and it traded on a huge amount of volume yesterday. But it wasn't super easy. So we had this long period of kind of going sideways right here. This ended at about 10:30 in the morning when it finally broke out. But what I was worried would happen was jackknife, right? Now it ended up breaking out and holding. So as soon as it held that level, you know, that could have been a buy signal to get in and then just sort of let it ride. Of course, it had some, you know, big range. I don't know if you would have just held the whole position, but I suppose if you did, you could have done well on it. But if you notice, you know, jackknife candle, again, a knife, a lot of these really tough drops pop up, back down. So although it did pull away here and I probably could have gotten a couple more trades on it, you know, I also don't feel too bad that I passed it up just because, unfortunately, it's the type that these grinders more often than not take money out of my pocket. So anyways, this is the instance where it went higher. But through this area here from 8 up to 12, you know, even when I looked at it later in the day, I was like, I don't feel FOMO for missing this either because look at all the jackknife moves. You know, compare that to TENX or even SYRA today. SYRA today, I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. This stock literally went from, gosh, what was it? $1 to nearly $10 in 10 minutes. Straight up, 700% in 10 minutes. That is insane. I mean, that's amazing. So, you know, this is obviously great to see. We don't see this every day, but so I'll go over that one in more detail. But comparatively, that's much more interesting to me than the move that we had on HOLO yesterday. That is until the close. So going into the close, HOLO does something special. All right, going into the close, all of a sudden, it begins this pretty epic squeeze. And my guess on this, and by the way, so actually the stock I'm up the most on today is HOLO. Although I traded SYRA, NZJYL, and HKIT, those ones were not as easy for me to trade. So overall, even though it was a really hot day in the market, my profits don't really reflect that. I did hit a high of about $6,500, and I gave back half off the top. So anyways, that happens. All right, but yeah, basically all of a sudden going into the close, it starts to pull away. So I don't know if that was someone who was holding a big short position who got, you know, a margin call and they had to cover, but all of a sudden it goes from $12 up to a high of 20 it pulls back, then it goes up to 28, pulls back, sells off here down to 18, then bounces and goes all the way up to over $50 a share, which is incredible up here. And then it sells off. So by 8 p.m., after hours is over, it's already back at 25. So I was like, I don't know. Maybe that short got squeezed out and they're out and now it's coming back in. So this morning, I took a trade on it. I took 2 trades. My first trade was, it was right here. I bought 1,000 shares for the break of 32. And I ended up stopping out for a $184 loss. So like 18 cents. Not bad. It was a pretty tight stop. I just got right out. But then it came back up again and I tried it again. I bought 1,000 shares here at 32. And holy smokes, this thing went to $38 a share. That was incredible. I made about 4,000 on the move. I tried to buy dips and sort of catch another move higher, but I ended up giving back about 500 on those second attempts. So later in the morning, I got a couple more trades on HOLO. I took a small trade up here looking for continuation. I gave back about 1,000 on that. Then I took a dip trade down here and made 1,000 on that. So anyways, nothing super exciting, but got a little bit of profit on HOLO, and I guess that makes up for not getting much on it yesterday. And then we had HKIT, which was the stock that when I first sat down this morning was our leading gapper. So this is the one that was really in focus. This is the one I was watching. But HKIT, I'm red on it, which is super annoying. So what ended up happening on HKIT, I don't know what's going on with this. I think my internet is being weird. Anyways, so on HKIT, my first trade on it was fairly early. It was actually my first, no, sorry, it was my second trade of the day. My first trade of the day was on HOLO. And then my second trade was on HKIT. So on HKIT, I got in this at about 670. And that was, let's see, 10 past 7. So it was in like this area here. Yeah, right around here. And, you know, it wasn't really a great entry. I kind of just, it was starting to pull away and I just bought it looking for the squeeze up to the highs. Stop 650, target $7. It goes up to 7, made about 500 on it. And at that point, it put me up 300 on the day. I was red on HOLO at that time, and I had the one green trade on HKIT. I took a couple more trades as it comes up here to a high of 7. Let's see. 750. And I got myself to up about 1,000 on it. But I wasn't up over 1,000 on the day because I was still red on HOLO. So I was like, not really making a lot of progress here. Yeah, I'm green, but not by a lot. And then I had the trade on HOLO, which was great. And then I had this trade right here where I bought 2,000 shares as it's curling up here. And it drops from 750 all the way down to a low of about 627. This was a really nasty knife. So it drops hard. I added 2,000 shares into the drop to try to catch a bounce coming back up. And I did catch a bounce, but I still lost almost $2,000 on the trade. So at that point, I went from up 4,000 on the day to up 2,000 on the day. So we could begin. Well, I don't know if it's even worth it, but I'll do it anyways. So my day kind of started. Let's see. So first trade minus 185. Second trade was like plus 500. All right, so I'm at 380 on the day, and then I had a little bit more profit, plus 600. So I got myself up to about 980 on the day, not quite over 1,000. Then I had this really nice trade on HOLO, which was like plus $4,000. So I was up almost 5,000 on the day. And then I lost, let's see, about 500 off the top on HOLO. So I was up about 4,500 on the day. And then I had the loss on SYRA, which put me up only 2,000 on the day. So at this point here, I was like, all right, this isn't great. I have given back about half my profit, but the market's pretty hot and it's still early. So I'm going to set my hard stop at minus at 1500. So I can give myself another $500 to risk, but I have to walk away with at least 1500 in my pocket. So from there, this was about when SYRA popped up. So then SYRA comes up, and this thing just kind of out of nowhere goes crazy. So SYRA, it goes from $1 to $2 to $3 to $4, all the way up to a high of $9.54. We'll look at this on the 10-second chart here. It first hits the scanners at, well, I don't know when it first hit the scanners, probably 2 something, but when I pulled it up, it was right after it had just hit a high of 4 on this candle. And I looked at that initially and I was like, ooh, I don't know. It's a big candle wick. You know, this doesn't always work super well, but let's see what happens. As it starts to bounce back up here, I got in for my first trade around 350, bought 1,000 shares. It ends up popping up to 4. I take the profit at 4. I was like, okay, that was good. And then it holds, and then I add back at about 430. It goes up to 5. I take some profit. It drops back down. Now I'm dip trading. I'm buying this dip here. I'm taking a little profit, you know, up into this area. I'm buying these dips and taking profit. And then this trading this on that move up is what ended up putting me up over $6,000 on the day. I mean, this was really impressive. So the problem for me was, so now I go from up, you know, 2,000, I make $4,000, almost 4,500 on SYRA. And now I'm up 6,500 on the day. All right. So 6,500 on the day, which is fantastic. All right. Well, then, you know, as you can see, I'm only up 1,500 on SYRA now. So I ended up giving back, you know, $3,000 of my profit on it. And that happened just sort of slowly. I had a dip trade. So let me go back and look at sort of where it started on SYRA. All right. So I had, there we go. So, all right. So it started first with a dip trade at 880. So bought a dip at 880 and it flushes down to 840 and 820. So I lost with 1,000 shares, $600 on that. Then I get back in with 1,000 shares at 791. It drops to 750. I lost another 400. I was like, man, this thing is going lower. I add back 1,500 shares at 695 and I stop out at 670. It was like this thing just kept going lower. And I kept thinking it was going to bounce. It just kept going lower. So anyway, so that gave back about half of the profit there, $1,500 on those 3 dip attempts. And then I had another one where I got in at 669 and it drops all the way down to 616. So that must have been probably around this area here. It was just brutal. So now I'm starting to get a little frustrated. I also took a trade on HOLO around this area at 41 as it was squeezing up and stopped out of that as it dropped back down. I only did small size on it, but still, you know, I think I lost about 1,000 on that trade up at the top. So that gave back a little bit of profit. And on SYRA, at the open, I ended up getting caught in a halt going down. I tried to do a dip. It halts down at 471. That was right here. It ends up opening lower and bouncing back up, which was good, but it just was not a great trade. And then my final losses on it, I took about 3 trades in this area trying to time the break through the high. You know, and I kept getting in and then stopping out and then getting back in and then stopping out. Rather than buying dips on it, I was buying for breakouts and I just lost more on that. So anyways, now I'm just like, well, look, it's better to be glasses half full. It's better to walk away with this than to keep losing more. I wanted to stay as long as I could and capture as much of the momentum as I could. But in reality, I would have done better walking away sooner. Of course, you know, that wasn't necessarily the case yesterday. I walked away early yesterday and things went without me. So I tried to dig deep and stay a little longer today, but it didn't pay off. Gave back half my profit trading. And realistically, you know, if we look back, like where was the spot at, you know, once I got up to 5,000 here, you know, this was great. Got up to 5,000, but then lost 500. This jackknife right here. But if I'd walked away there, I would have been with 2,000. I'm at 3,300, you know? So SYRA, I didn't expect it. I got such a big cushion from it. All of a sudden, I was like, I'm in the driver's seat. And then I just sort of had, you know, several relatively small losses, you know, it was minus 750, you know, minus 300, minus 500. But, you know, at a certain point, I was having winners like, you know, 250, but they were small. And then I take another $1,200 loss. And next thing you know, I'm down here at 3,300. And don't forget, you know, the whole time I'm racking up commissions. So was it a great day? No. The market was hot. And I obviously made money, so I can't really complain that much. But one of the challenges is that a lot of us are not accustomed to trading in these types of hot markets. And it's also true that sometimes after a really big move, it can be very easy to go red. You know, a lot of traders have FOMO from the move on HOLO. They didn't trade it as well as they would have liked to have traded it. And then the next stock that pops up, they're just slamming with full size, which was HKIT. So then HKIT starts to pull away, but you know, that one didn't end up holding up as well as it could have. Unfortunately, I've got some internet issues today. I don't know what's going on with my computer, but I'm going to restart it after this recap. See if that helps. But I'm still on my old computer from the small account challenge. But in any case, yeah, I would say today, in terms of a rating, you know, it was a high rating. It was a solid day. We had some really good action, but it's volatility that most of us are not used to trading, certainly not recently. And as a result, I could see how it would have been very easy to go into the red. So yeah, HKIT up 283% right now, but it certainly feels like it's, you know, pulling back. It hit a high of about 8. That jackknife was just a real bummer. That one got me, you know, pretty badly. Even buying the dip, I mean, it never came back up to those highs. CCTG, no trades on that one. That Chinese WhatsApp scam stock, the pump and dump. You know, at this point, you could certainly trade it if you wanted to. I think the pump and dump is over. This was the move and that's the dump. But I just left it alone today. ZJYL, I did lose 500 on that. I forgot to mention that one. So ZJYL, this one's kind of interesting. So this stock, if you recall, is the one that went from $20 a share up to 500. And then it's been holding at about $350. Now they did a traditional stock split. So now the price is back at 15. They did a 1-to-20 stock split. So this is kind of crazy, but the people, you know, now who maybe shorted 1,000 shares of this at 350 are holding 20,000 shares, you know, the split times 20 at, well, 300 divided by 2, 15 approximately. So I was sort of wondering if we would see a really like impressive squeeze here. And I took a starter of 250 shares and I lost 2 points on it. And I was like, well, all right, that's enough for me. And that was right here. It had halted up twice, but I was like, all right, well, let's see. Small size. But I lost 2 points. So, you know, that for me is just sort of the icing on the cake. I was like, you know what? I think I'm done here. That dropped me from 3,800 on the day down to 3,300. And I just felt like, let's call it. But we're definitely seeing momentum in Chinese names. You know, are some of them pump and dumps? I don't know. Is there shady stuff going on some of them? For sure. But volatility can equal opportunity if you're quick and you can be disciplined. So for those of you that found your way to profit today, congratulations. For those that didn't, don't beat yourself up too hard. Study the charts, try to get better, but also remember that days like today are sort of, you know, few and far between. Most days are going to be your sort of days that we might rate as a 4 to a 6. We've got some momentum. It's nothing insane. Nothing's going up 500 or 700%, but that's okay. You can make money on stocks going up 50 to 100% for sure. So These days, I know early in my career, these were always days I was red on. It was just too much stuff moving, too much volatility. You jump in one thing and then it drops, and then another one starts to squeeze, and then you're chasing it, and next thing you know, your head's spinning. So I get what that's like. I felt that way a little bit today as well, but with a bit more experience, I was able to lock up some profit, and I suppose I still gave back profit off the top, but I'm certainly not perfect, but was able to find my way to a little profit and know the time to walk away. Maybe I could have walked away sooner, but it's better to walk away now than to go back to flat or to go red on the day, certainly. All right, so that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. If you did, I hope you hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you for my recap tomorrow. All right, see you guys then.